South Bend Orthopedic, Vivid Seats, and by West Bend Insurance. Also brought to you by Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame and Gulfstream Coach. Now, here's the Brian Kelly Show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Brian Kelly Show. I'm Jack Nolan, joined as always by the head coach of the Fighting Irish, Brian Kelly. You've just completed your third full on-field practice of the week, spent a little time outside today, and then came inside to get more productive work done because it's kind of nasty here this evening. Tell me how the week went.
Well, I mean, normal preparation for us in terms of, Tuesday is much more of a contact intense day for us. Wednesday is more of the situational game plan. And then today, doing all the little things that you got to do to make sure your game plan is solid. So, they've got three different quarterbacks that could play. So, you've got to go over and look at what Willis does, the drop back quarterback. You got to look what Patterson does. You got to look what Hooker does. So, there's a lot of different, moving pieces on Thursday where, you're really trying to differentiate some of the things that and calls that you might have on defense. And then offensively, some of the, different situations in fourth down and, the new 2-point play rule, where you've it's no longer after the fourth overtime, you got to go for two. So, little things like that. That's, Thursday and a lot of special teams, so a lot of different circumstances and going through that. So good week of practice. The guys are anxious to play. Obviously, they want to get last week behind them and get back in the winning ways. And that goes for the coach as well. Everybody's, I think, a little testy, a little ornery, if you will, and anxious to get back out there and play.
And it's good to hear it was a good week. I've popped into a couple of them, and I can concur that that's certainly what I saw. What was your theme this week? Because this was an unusual week. It's been a number of years, at least 3 years, since you've been in this kind of situation where you played a game where you didn't display your traits. That was uncharacteristic to what you had consistently done in the past.
Well, you go back and unfortunately you have to remind everybody about, what it takes to win. It's hard. It's humbling. I mean, we had a bad day. And you can't just say, hey, we had a bad day, let's move on. You have to remind them about, what it takes to be successful. And it's hard. It's hard to win college football games. And, a lot of things didn't go our way, and then we didn't help it. And so, we had to address those things. And a lot of it is, just getting back and paying attention to the details. And our kids did a good job this week. And, again, we'll finish it up tomorrow with a little bit more of a walkthrough, on Friday. And then, like I said, get ready to play on Saturday.
I mentioned to you after the Michigan game, a bad loss doesn't change the character of the young men that you have recruited here. And I was so impressed with Alohi Gilman gathering the defense together even before you had come out of the coach's locker room to talk with the team. How did the team respond the rest of the week to your instructions and just getting their jobs done?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's that hard. I mean, they got knocked down, and now you got to get back up. It's life, right? I mean, it teaches you, lifelong lessons about, adversity. This is just a game of football, but you can apply it to everything in life. There's going to be times where you have to, get back up and go to work after some difficult times. And so, look, we didn't play well. We didn't coach well. We have to learn from that. We examine the things that we have to do better, and then you go back to work. That's the only way you can do it. You can't lament it. You can't carry it with you. And then sometimes you got to look at it and say, that's a bad day. Let's go. There's a lot of good football in this team. They've played a lot of good football over the last few years, and there's a lot of the similar players on this team. They're capable of playing much better. They know that, and they will. They'll play much better on Saturday.
And there's one thing they do have to deal with here, and all athletes do today, but maybe even more so here because Notre Dame works so hard to immerse all student athletes in the student body. They are not separated. They live with the students. They eat with the students most of the time. You now finally do have the necessary evening training table. So they were in atmospheres of a lot of noise this week that they had to deal with. And you train your players how to deal with it, but it's really the first time that they've been into maybe what was a negative setting throughout the week. How did you sense, as the guys came to practice every day, that they were handling that part of it?
Well, I mean, they have to deal with it both positively and negatively. I mean, they get patted on the back when they're winning a lot of games, and they have to deal with that. And then when you don't play well, you got to deal with that. So, again, I think it's part of the learning process of playing this game and playing it at this level and playing it here at Notre Dame. And it goes to build their character so that, they're better men, better citizens when they leave here. So, again, they're used to dealing with the scrutiny. Certainly they don't like it this way, but it is what it is. We got what we deserved, and now we've got to take it, and we've got to move on. And now our next opportunity comes up on Saturday and against a good Virginia Tech team.
Yesterday, Ian Book was named one of 10 finalists for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award as the best quarterback in the country. He had a terrific season last year. He's playing well this year, maybe not to his expectations or even yours, because you know what his ceiling could be. He didn't play well Saturday, but he has still had a solid season, and you made it very clear on Monday, and not everybody heard it, but you made it very clear that there's no question about who your quarterback is.
No, I mean, look, he didn't play well. I didn't coach well. I mean, we're all in this together, and he knows what he's got to do, and I know what I've got to do, and that is rededicated ourselves this week to being better at what we do. I mean, we're working 80 hours a week. They're not. They can't. That'd be illegal. So they didn't work 80 hours a week. Don't get us in trouble. But they are as committed to wanting to be the best, and Ian Book is that too. He cares deeply about being the best quarterback he can be. So, again, I think that Ian Book is as committed as anybody we have on our team, and he wants to play better, and look for him to play better this weekend.
And I brought that up in part because that's a group of people who observe quarterbacks and how they play from a distance. All of us who are close to the program obviously very upset with the one weekend, but the overall picture, those folks certainly still think that Ian's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. And there's another guy who got nominated for an award. Sean Crawford was named a nominee for the 2019 Mayo Clinic Comeback Player of the Year Award, and maybe for him it should be of the Year's Award, because here's a young man who, he's like Wolverine from the movies. You cannot knock him out of a game, and he played for you some on Saturday night.
He did. He's going to play a lot this Saturday, and he's one of those alphas that you need on your football team. He's just he's tough. He's gritty. He exemplifies all the things that maybe at times we didn't have on Saturday, and Sean has it, and so it's good to have him back at full strength this weekend. His elbow is feeling great. He's excited. He's going to play a lot of football for us this weekend, and we need him. He's going to be called on to do a lot of things for us. You're going to see him play probably 3 different positions and maybe all at once. No, he's going to play 3 different positions, and he's going to play them well for us.
All right, health-wise, how's the rest of your team looking going into the game?
Well, we'll be out without Tommy Kramer. We talked about him with the knee sprain. And then we'll make a game-time decision on Tony Jones. He's got an upper body injury. Those are the 2 right now that look to be, game-time decisions on Tony, and then Kramer is out.
Now, again, Jafar looks better and better with each week. He gets more healthy. And there are other guys who haven't gotten a lot of snaps at the running back position who I watched them this week in practice. You do have a lot of talent back there that just hasn't yet either earned or just received the opportunity to show what they can do.
Yeah, well, they're going to all have to show themselves. Obviously, Jafar, I think, is at a position now. He played, close to, I think we had him close to 40 snaps. He's ready to play a big role this weekend, and he's got the volume to do that. And certainly Jameer Smith, Avery, and Sebo, they're all going to play. They're all going to have to contribute, and they'll all have to have roles that help our offense.
All right, as always, we have lots of questions for Coach Kelly, and we'll get to some of those questions right after this first time out. It's the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day, free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
A great kicker makes a 45-yarder look easy. But if you've ever tried kicking one yourself, you know it's anything but. A great insurance company works the same way. When something catastrophic happens, we make it right again. It looks almost effortless when done well. But try working with another insurance company and you'll find it's anything but. West Bend, the worst brings out our best. To find out more, visit thesilverlining.com.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND. Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show. Fans, you can experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Download the new Vivid Seats app to start earning credit back on all your app purchases. Don't just get any seat, get a Vivid seat. And it's time for the first of our two question segments. And this week's ticket winner is John Vanderlaan of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and he's right there.
Where?
Right here.
Where? Oh, John, you got the front seat, too.
Got the front seat.
Awesome.
They
Congratulations.
traveled all the way. We figured we'd give him a good seat.
Round trip airfare, too, huh? No, what a great deal.
Gee.
You wish,
I
right?
didn't know the show's budget had gotten that large.
Oh, yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's huge. John's question is, how do you incorporate a player's decision to maintain redshirt status when finalizing a roster? Now, usually that's not the player's decision.
Well, that's a good question now with the 4-game rule, right? You know, so everybody is counting their games and looking at them. So what we try to do early in the season is we try to have those discussions with the players that, you know, we're looking at playing early on. So if we're playing you in game 1, there's a sense that you may be able to contribute the entire year. And then there's some guys that we're telling, look, we're going to spot play you for 4 games, and then we're going to pull you. And so we try to have more, I guess, transparency in those discussions than maybe in years past where you kind of wait and you decide whether you're going to redshirt or not. A lot of those decisions now with the 4-game rule are being made prior to. And I think a lot of the players would prefer to play in 4 games in their first year and all redshirt. That's kind of how it's going. Now, here at Notre Dame, it's a little bit different. Most of these guys don't make it through 5 years because they're already graduated in 3.5 years. So if you were a high-end player, you have your degree in 3.5 years, and you leave after 4 for the NFL. So did that red shirt really mean anything? Not really. So that's kind of the rub that we're in as it relates to some of these players. But that's kind of how we're navigating right now. Good question.
Rodney Longhofer of Kansas City, Kansas is wondering what determines if a particular practice is held indoors or outdoors.
Well, this week we were outdoors on Tuesday and Wednesday in the elements. Today it was really wet, and we do a lot of special teams. So today we did a lot of our special teams indoors. We ran our 7-on-7 and our red zone and short yardage outside, even in the elements. So with this facility here, now we can go inside, outside pretty easily. We usually practice in the stadium on Thursday, but because of the the kind of weather conditions that we had today, I wanted to have the ability to be precise with our kicking game and do some things here where we could use both facilities. So generally speaking, if it's not too wet, we're going to try to stay outside and play in the elements because that's what we're getting on Saturday. The difficult part is the wet, and that sometimes makes it difficult to practice outside. But today we did because we want to make sure we threw the ball in the rain and were able to handle our passing game and some of our short yardage stuff.
Mark Gagel would like to know, when you're recruiting, what is the number one thing you use to sell Notre Dame to a recruit?
Well, certainly the ability to get a world-class education, first and foremost. Second, play for Notre Dame, one of the storied programs in the country. We're a national program that competes for championships and plays an incredible schedule. You're playing on national TV virtually each and every week. And certainly the draw to, come to a university where you're going to develop both on and off the field. So excellence both in academics and athletics is truly the biggest draw.
Lawrence Grouse of Hanover, Pennsylvania is wondering, when are you going to use defensive tackle Myron Tungvailoa Amosa, who rumbled 48 yards down the field with a recovered fumble against Virginia, as a ball carrier in a game so he can rumble the football into the end zone?
Well, it sounds like that didn't come from Hawaii.
No, it came from Hanover, Pennsylvania.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it conceivably could be an alias.
Yes, I think it probably is. I think he'd be a great addition to our short yardage package, but we generally don't give it to a fullback. We try to give it to a running back, but he would be a good addition, something to consider. We'll write that down and put it on the potential to-do list.
Oh, and all kidding aside, Brock Wright fulfills that role for you in your jumbo package on the goal line.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot of nuances to that. In other words, the blocking schemes change. You need him 15, 20 minutes probably out of the week, so you got to pull him out of some of the practice schedule to work on it. Look, if he's just going out for a pass, we saw Quentin Nelson, right?
Yeah.
But Quentin was going out for a pass, or he was going to block the end, or that's about it. So I'm sure their offensive line coach is not letting them take Quentin Nelson for 20 minutes during practice.
I would think that's a sure bet. There's no question about it. He was, again, this weekend rated by Pro Football Focus, Quentin, as one of the top 10 guards in the NFL, and that's a little bit lower than he's been ranked. I know you're not surprised, but he's remarkable. He may be one of the most talented and athletic guards in the history of the NFL already.
Well, he's reminds me a lot of John Hanna. If you remember John Hanna back in the 80s and 90s, he was 80s actually. He was so big, so athletic, so powerful, and did things that a lot of people couldn't do at that time. And Quentin, obviously is in an age where everybody's bigger, faster, stronger, and he certainly looks to be the biggest, the fastest, and the strongest amongst his peers, and that's saying a lot.
And I have sensed a few times when he has pulled and he starts to run through the hole, a linebacker or a safety looks up, and you can see they go, nah, not today.
Yeah, I think most of the safeties and corners are they're immediately going low.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very low. And he makes you pay for that, too, because he's not getting up very quickly. He's on top of you for a little bit and generally giving you the business.
Herman Neep of Anaheim, California, wants to know where the team has its pregame meal.
Well, we stay at the Doubletree Hotel. That's where our lodging is. So we have a Friday night meal there, buffet, and then obviously we get up and have meetings and have breakfast and our pregame meal there as well. So the Doubletree Hotel in downtown South Bend.
Now, I've had some friends even now who are surprised when they find out that the team leaves campus, but virtually every school, and they do this now in basketball as well, when Notre Dame goes on the road for big games, those teams leave their campuses the night before a game. Everybody does it for a specific reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, if your dorm is a normal dorm, it's weekend, it's party night, and guys are coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning. So you need to get your rest. You need the opportunity to be focused, and so you got to get them off campus. It's just the way it is. College campuses, as they are and have been for decades, you need to get your team sequestered, if you will, and get them focused on the game and get them some rest, quite frankly.
Plenty more questions for Coach Kelly, and we will get to those right after this timeout. It's the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame invites you to dine, shop, enjoy. Just south of campus, Eddy Street Commons has specialty shops like Urban Outfitters, Nicholas J. Salon, Kilwin's Chocolates, and Hammis Bookstore. If you're looking for a delicious dining destination, consider one of Eddy Street's many eateries like O'Rourke's Public House, Bar Beachy, Brothers Bar and Grill, and Livery. That's Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame. Be sure to follow them on Facebook. For details on upcoming events and special offers, visit eddycommons.com.
Come dine and unwind at Bistro 933. Located inside the Hilton Garden Inn of South Bend, Bistro 933's handcrafted cocktails and incredible variety of delicious American cuisine is described as upscale comfort food by Chef Josh and his culinary staff. Their menu features steaks, seafood, and other seasonal entrees, including gluten-free and vegetarian options. Daily specials include Burger Monday, Taco Tuesday, and all-you-can-eat fish fry Fridays. Come experience Bistro 933 inside the Hilton Garden Inn on the campus of St. Mary's College, where it's not too early to buy gift cards for holiday gift giving.
Who remembers 1979? A stamp from the post office cost only 15 cents, and the average household income was $16,400. Times were certainly different. This is Doug Leckleitner of Leckleitner Door Sales and Service. Fortunately, not everything has changed, like our commitment to excellence. Since my dad started Leckleitner Door 40 years ago, our goal continues to be satisfying each and every customer. Trust your garage door to someone who's been doing it right since a Happy Meal was just $1. That's us at Leckleitner Door. Call 295-6311.
For many seniors, going without means going hungry. Seniors often live on fixed incomes and are vulnerable to hunger. I'm Mary Jo Martinek with the Food Bank of Northern Indiana. 15% of senior households in our community have indicated that they choose between food and medical care. Together, let's give seniors the peace of mind and improved health that comes with having enough nutritious food to eat. Find out how you can help at feedindiana.org.
Pet lovers, fall is a great time to visit Pet Refuge and give a loving animal a new forever home. The fall colors are perfect scenery for walks with your new four-legged friend. Dog and cat adoptions are Wednesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 8 and Saturdays from 11 to 3 at Pet Refuge, 4626 Burnett Drive in South Bend, just off Ireland Road. Also plan to attend Pet Refuge's annual Holiday Bazaar Saturday, December 7th. There will be a bake sale, vendors, pictures with Santa, and of course pet adoptions. For more details, visit petrefuge.com.
Well, folks, so much for 80-degree football game days. It's time to start thinking about tires. Winter tires. Our friends at TireRack.com, presenting sponsors of the Brian Kelly Show. Have what's right for you. Headquartered just a few minutes from Notre Dame Stadium, their experts know a thing or two about driving through winter's worst. And when they're not driving in it, they're on their test track or maneuvering around on the ice at a local hockey rink for winter tire testing. Also, you can get your tires right. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. More questions for the head coach of the Fighting Irish? Randy Murphy of South Bend would like to know if you have changed the way you manage the roster with the implementation of the 4-game redshirt rule.
Yeah, well, we've just had a pretty in-depth discussion about it. I mean, I think you have to be cognizant of, the way your roster kind of moves, constantly. But I think it's, for us, we're recruiting a young man that would like to redshirt if he can. But they're going to play their 4 games, and then you kind of make stock of it after the season. So, yes and no. I think it's changed it a little bit. And for us, we're not counting on those guys being fifth-year players anyway. So we're kind of keeping it as the status quo.
And it is unique. I don't know of any other program that routinely has their guys graduate in 3.5 years like Notre Dame does. Yeah. It's the way the school wants things done to make sure they continue their progress. So with that in mind, the follow-up Randy had was, do you like the rule? Do you like the change?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing both sides of it. I think it keeps these guys, really sharp and active, and getting those games, I think, really helps when they're ready to play the next year. So that's a real plus. But there's give and take on it. I think it's probably all in all, it's probably a good rule.
Marty Mahoney of Mendham, New Jersey, has sent us a question about Kyle Hamilton. Coach, how is Kyle Hamilton different than most first-year contributors that you've previously had in the program?
Well, I think he started off at a very high level. He's just an extraordinary athlete for his size. I mean, he plays a position where there's not many 6'4", safeties that can move like he can move, with really good instincts. So I think you start there where he's a unique talent from that standpoint. But he's a lot like the other freshmen. He's hit the wall a little bit. We were talking about the other day, come November, they're usually a game or two, and they're in the playoffs. He looked up at the schedule and goes, wow, we have 6 more games, Coach? I said, yeah, we have 6 more games. So, he's going through that, first year as well. So a lot of similarities in terms of, the ups and downs of a season, but extraordinary in terms of the physical ability. Haven't had many kids, if any, quite like him.
Todd Krall of Toledo would like to know, when you were growing up in Boston in the 60s and 70s,
I wasn't growing up in the 60s. I was born in the 60s.
Well, you were 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, I was all right. You're right. I was, yeah, but
you're not that much younger than I am.
Jack, the 70s is when I was growing up. 70s and 80s. Now I'm feeling like I'm 100 years old.
Well, the rest of the question, when you get the perspective of the question.
God, he works for Notre Dame.
Did you have a favorite college football team? Now, when you were 5,
yeah,
6,
Newt Rockney's Notre Dame team.
And who was your favorite college athlete?
Oh, it'd have to be George Gibb.
I get it. All right. In 1970, you were 8, right?
No, I'm kidding with you.
No, I know, and I enjoy
1970s,
it.
yes.
You
yes.
don't.
70s. So in Boston, there was no. Boston College was not really a team that was on TV.
Yeah.
So you really didn't see them much.
Well, it's a pro town.
And it's a pro town, so you had, the Patriots, the Red Sox, the Celtics. It was that's what it really was, as you know.
Yeah.
So you had Lindsey Nelson and Notre Dame football, and that's really all I watched in terms of college football. So Notre Dame football is really all we had on the television.
Sunday morning on Channel 56.
That's right. It was Channel 56.
And that was the game that you watched every week.
And by the way, there was no remote.
No. You had to walk across the room and switch the channel.
To get to 56.
But we did have a remote antenna. Did you have one of those? You pushed a button and it would clunk, and you'd have to twist your antenna.
No, those were in the 60s, Jack.
Right, when I was, yes. In the 60s. We had them in the early 70s as well. Okay. I tell you what, now this is just like my office, because I do have colleagues who I like. They'll sit there and go, the other day there were these old people. Sorry, Jack. There were these old. So I get it all the time.
You get it.
Nathan Sagan of Granger submitted this question. Do you think Notre Dame Stadium will ever host a bowl game?
Huh. Will they host a bowl game?
I think they're looking at all the other events Notre Dame's now hosting.
Yeah.
Would they ever host a bowl game?
Doubt it. Unless you – I don't know how you would use that as a climate, that you would want to go to. Like, hey, let's go to South Bend. It's going to be –
maybe with global warming, people will have to come up to get cool.
No, I don't see it as a destination. Yeah. It's an incredible stadium, but we'd have to move it.
Although, ironically, it was almost too warm for the hockey game last January 1st.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a quite interesting event.
Peter McYone of Toronto would like to know what you believe is the biggest improvement in your specialty teams this year.
Well, I think our punter's been really consistent. Our kicking game has been, I think, consistency from the kickers has been really, really good. I think we've stocked our kickoff team with some really good players. I made that commitment, and I think Coach Polling's done a really good job of coaching. It's been really consistent. The I think the plan has been really well laid out. I think our guys have really committed to it. So I think it's been a little bit of all of that, right? The kickers have been really consistent. I think we put really good players on these teams. They've committed themselves, and I think Coach Bowling's done a really good job.
Let's start a little deeper into that, too, because I don't think folks realize, as your daily practice plan, how much time you spend on special teams every single day.
Yeah, quite a bit. There's a great commitment to it. So, in a 20-block period, which is, about an hour and, an hour and 40 minutes, we'll spend, upwards of 30 minutes, just under a third of that time on special teams. So they get a great, I know special teams is a third of the game, but, they get a great amount of time to spend on it, and it's proven to be worthy.
And I think the assumption of many is, well, that's fine because the special team is one group, and then you've got the starters on the two sides of the ball. But with your special teams,
no, there's a lot of guys that are cross-training on that. So not only on offense or defense that they've got to go to special teams. So we've got to be careful too, because the player load starts to add up on those guys. And and I think, again, Coach Bowling does a really good job. We'll run kickoff at its full length, and then the next rep will be from midfield. We'll cut down on the running and make sure that we're in the right lane. So he's done a really good job of keeping it from being too taxing and making sure our guys are fresh on those teams as well.
Now, this wonderful facility behind us, the Notre Dame Athletics Center, this is the first season you've been in here. How has this building helped you practice special teams?
Well, there's no substitute for good geography. The geography is so good because it's next to our two practice fields as well. And today with the bad weather, we're able to actually be inside for special teams because of the bad weather, and then go outside for a little bit and use the bad weather because we want to be able to throw in the bad weather if we have it on Saturday. So having this facility has been very, very good. And then obviously the ability to kick in it as well. It wouldn't be what it is if you can't really have your kickers in here kicking, punting, and doing those things. So it's a really, really good part of the development of your football program.
And I haven't been in the Loftus Center this fall, so I don't know if they fixed it. But if you go over there and they haven't, all you have to do is look at the ceiling for the many practices they had over there when you tried to run special teams, and it's just peppered with football holes.
Yeah, it just doesn't give you the same realistic feel. We've only hit the roof one time with a punt, and that's close to 86 feet. That's pretty good. The bottom of the Jumbotron in Cowboy Stadium is 88 feet, I believe. So Jay Bramlett hit it one time in all the punting that we've done in here. So that's pretty impressive.
Debbie Kreisch of Philadelphia sent in this question. Coach, with the temperatures getting cooler, how do you change conditioning to avoid injuries, or do you have to?
No, I mean, our stretching routine is the same. Our weight training is the same. We're still cognizant of stretching and doing all those correctives that you need throughout the season. We're very much aware of the player load that we put on our team in terms of how many periods we're practicing. But we were extremely physical this week. We went ones versus ones Tuesday and Wednesday. We don't normally do that, but we were wanting to be a little bit more physical this week. So, I think by and large, when you get into November, you start to think about taking the pads off on, Wednesdays. We haven't. Some teams do. But I think when you get into November, I think teams start to look at, how they can back off a little bit, from a player's safety standpoint.
Folks, if you'd like to submit a question for the Brian Kelly Show, go to Ask Coach Kelly on the Notre Dame app or UND.com and submit a question. Each week we also select one question submitter to attend this invitation-only show in person. We will take an in-depth look at this weekend's game with Virginia Tech right after this timeout on the Brian Kelly Show, live from the Irish Athletic Center, presented by the experts at TireRack.com.
A lot of banking apps let you do the same things, like check your balance in your PJs, deposit checks during your workout, and transfer funds from, anywhere. But because we're a trusted bank in the neighborhood, the First Source app comes with a walk-in option. So you can talk face-to-face, not just face-to-phone. First Source Bank.
Member FDIC. Download the First Source app on the App Store or Google Play.
Is life throwing you hard knocks? Okay, it's time to go to work. You may be injured or just worn down. Whether it's Notre Dame football, work, or just everyday life, South Bend Orthopedics believes everyone should be treated as if they are on the same team. Schedule an appointment with South Bend Orthopedics today. Call 574-247-9441. Let us get you back in the game.
It doesn't take a focus group to name a Papa John's pizza with 5 of our best meats. Just take a ginormous bite and blurt out the first thing you think of. Meats! With an S. Meats, plural. Used in a sentence, it would be like, holy cow, that's a lot of meats. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go enjoy the meats of my labor. Try large meats or works for just $12, only at Papa John's. Not valid with other discounts. Fees and taxes extra. Prices may vary.
Gear up for game day weekend by joining the Gordon Food Service Store Tailgating Zone to get exclusive discounts on tailgating faves. You'll also be entered for a chance to win free Notre Dame tickets. Text GFS to 55678 to join today. New members will also receive a free thermal tote bag. It's easy. Just text GFS to 55678. Gordon Food Service Store is the official tailgating partner of Notre Dame Athletics.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com. Virginia Tech coming to town. They are 5-2. They have won 3 in a row. They had a week off to get ready for this game, but they're going to be taking on a Notre Dame team that has won 15 straight at home, the 3rd longest streak in Notre Dame history, and right now it's the 9th longest active streak in the entire country. And I know you talked to your players about that. One of the keys to being successful is protecting your house, and you've been doing that.
Yeah, our guys have played well at home and certainly have, liked the routine that we're in when we play at home. And it's been important. It's part of our mantra in terms of our summer workouts. And, again, I think, having a great home crowd, getting into a great routine, and then, playing good football. You got to still play good football at home. And our guys have done a nice job of that. And we're going to have to play well against the Virginia Tech team, as you mentioned. He's playing very, very well, running the football, taking their shots when they get it, and kind of changed a little bit. Willis was their quarterback last year and throws it very, very well. But they've gone to Hendon Hooker, who throws it well, don't get me wrong, but is not as accomplished as a passer as Willis is in terms of, across the field reads and things of that nature. He can throw it now, but he is a very, very dynamic runner as well. And so there's a strong commitment here to a run game, and you can see that. And I think it's helping the ability to win games and win close games because they're still giving up some points on the defensive side of the ball. So I think it's really fit them, and it's helped them win some close games. They won a close game at Miami, and they won a close game, a very close game. Yeah. I think they won 4 or 5 overtimes.
Six
overtimes. Was it 6?
Yeah.
6 overtimes against North Carolina. So, again, running the football, dual threat quarterback. Bud Foster is still leading their defense, and he's doing a really good job with some young players. They've lost some players on the defensive line in particular, and still mixing it up, still aggressive, and they're a tough team to play.
They also have a deep core of talented receivers. I know that's something you focused on defending this week.
Yeah, and Hazelton's back. He was their big play receiver last year, and they've got some young players that are athletic that can make plays on the perimeter. And they stress you. I mean, you've got to defend the quarterback as well. So if you think about when Brandon Wimbush was our quarterback, one of the things that made it difficult is that you had to defend him too. And so if you played a lot of double zone, it made it difficult to defend the quarterback. And it's a similar situation here where these receivers now get a lot of one-on-one matchups, and they're pretty good receivers. So they become a challenge to defend because of that.
Now, they have a young offensive line that's getting better and better, and you talked about their ability to run it. Is that sometimes a little bit difficult to prepare for? Because with young lines that are taking strides each week, sometimes they get to a level that maybe you hadn't seen before.
Yes and no. I mean, they had a bye week, but everybody has a bye week against us, it seems. I think the next 3 will have bye weeks,
Seven
too.
teams total this year of Notre Dame's opponents have bye weeks.
So, they're going to do some things in the passing game, I think, that are going to be more advanced than they were probably when Hooker was playing against UNC. But I think in terms of the running game, the offensive line is still developing. There's still development going on there. But they make it work because they have so many other options with the quarterback. They can run quarterback power. They can run, lead option. They can run zone option. There's a lot of different things they can do. And, it really helps when you have a young offensive line to have a quarterback that can be a dual threat.
Now, Virginia Tech has a couple of wins over FCS teams, which you touched on it. They've beaten a very physical Miami team on the road. They're coming off that 6 overtime win over North Carolina, and it's a Carolina team that almost upset Clemson. Now, we do accept questions from the media on this show, and we do have a media question tonight.
We do.
From Tim O'Malley of Irish Illustrated.
Well, Tim's not here. Why does he get a question? I mean, these guys are here.
He was out trick-or-treating with his kids. Well, they have the ability to submit a question if they wish.
Oh, okay. Well, they didn't wish. Okay.
But they're just monitoring because you and I do such a great job that we don't leave any questions unasked. But Tim thought that we did, and here is his question. For the second week in a row, you face one of the nation's most respected defensive coordinators. How does what you expect to see from Bud Foster compare to what you saw from Don Brown last week?
Well, they're both committed to stopping the run. So first and foremost, they're both, if you talk about philosophies, they're both, multiple in terms of, their fronts and looks. They're going to be in 3 down and 4 down. They're man teams predominantly. They can play zone, and they will play zone. But I think they both come from a similar philosophy, is that they're not going to let teams run the ball up and down the field. At least that's where they start. And then they'll tweak their schemes accordingly to match personnel that they have against your personnel. So I think they're a little bit different in terms of some of the schemes that they do, certainly. But they're both from the school of stopping the run, pressuring, and then a combination of man and zone on the back end. And both of them were heavy man for a lot of years, but you're seeing a lot more zone starting to come back with their schemes.
And their defensive numbers aren't quite what they have been in the past, but one thing they are again doing very well is getting to the quarterback. They're 12th in the country in sacks with 3.5 per game, but they have 10 different players who have had a sack, and they have 5 who have 3 or more.
Yeah, you're getting it from a lot of different areas. You're getting it from, safeties and linebackers and defensive ends and corners, and so, different pressure packages. Everybody is interchangeable in certain areas where, the safeties and corners are interchangeable, the linebackers and even the ends. So, that's why there's so many different guys that have gotten to the quarterback.
And you talk about the way they fly to the ball. Their secondary has 32 PBUs, which is short for passes broken up. That's a lot of footballs to get your hands on at this point in the season.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. They've got 6 interceptions at the cornerback position, which is really, really good to have 3 apiece on each side of the ball. So, they're really good athletes. And this is, again, a group that is disruptive and tries to create negative plays, especially, with the kind of scheme they have. That's where they're trying to make some gains early on.
And you talk about what teams have to play for. They right now are in contention for their division's top spot in the ACC, but they've also earned a bowl invitation every year since 1993, which is really remarkable. It's the longest streak in the country. They've gone to a bowl game 26 straight years, and it's a streak that has become very important to them. So they've got to win a few more games to guarantee that continues.
Yeah, pretty impressive, and they're well on the way. They've put this thing back together quickly in terms of, playing the kind of football they want to. I think they found their kind of formula on the offensive side of the ball in terms of where they're going, running the football, I think, in a large degree, and taking shots down the field. They've got a lot of big plays. They were very opportunistic against Miami, as you know. I think 6 turnovers, taking the 6 turnovers and capitalizing there. And then obviously Miami made a huge comeback on them. It was, I think, they were down 28-0 and got back in the game. But they've done a really good job of closing out games, too. They were down by 7 with about 5 minutes to go against UNC, came back, tied it up, and as we know, went to all those overtimes. So they've done a really nice job of finishing off some games, too.
And there's a familiarity here right now, a little bit unusual early in this relationship with the ACC where you're rotating through everybody in the league a set number of times in a set period of years. This is the third time you've played them.
Yep.
And each team's won on the opposing team's home field. And it was a big deal when you guys went down there last year, and you took control pretty quickly, and they remember that.
Well, I mean, I think Virginia Tech knows that, what they're getting into up here. We knew what we're getting in down there. Justin will have his team ready, so I don't think there's any secrets here, between either team. Again, they had a bye week. They were able to, watch us and watch us on TV and certainly have got enough information on us from last year as we do. This is we don't get a lot of ACC opponents where we have, the year before film and kind of feel like it's a conference opponent in a sense. So there'll be no secrets on both sides of the ball. And, again, just preparing for, I think 2 and maybe 3 quarterbacks is really the only difference.
What do you want to see from your team?
Play physical, play to our traits, be smart. I think, some of the things that, we got away from, assignment football, playing gritty, playing tough, playing Notre Dame football. The pride and tradition of this program is about that. And, when you put that jersey and helmet on, that's the expectation. So play hard, play physical, play for 4 quarters. The rest kind of takes care of itself.
Our regular viewers and listeners know that we've added a segment to the show this year where Coach connects with a former player each week. And before we reveal this week's guest, in watching those videos, you really seem to be enjoying this opportunity to catch up with your former players who have moved on and are now playing the game on Sundays.
Yeah, you don't get much of an opportunity. Now, they all come back, but I'm usually busy doing something when they all come back to a game. And Julian came back to the USC game with his girlfriend, and it's great that they do. Each one of them has come back that I've had the interviews with, but we're talking about Julian Love, obviously, and it was great catching up with them. And each one of them has got different circumstances going on. Julian is kind of acclimating to life in the NFL, especially in New York City,
yeah.
which is a little bit different. And when we caught up, he was just trying out a new iPhone, and he's a 22-year-old kind of, going through his life and learning how to handle football for 10 hours a day. It's a little bit different, but it was great catching up with him and seeing how he was doing.
We just mentioned Virginia Tech this year getting to a lot of footballs, deflecting them. He's your all-time leader in PBUs with 39. What made him good and makes him good?
Yeah, really good sense. A lot of guys, lose sight of the football, and he had just a great sense of when to play the ball, and always got his head back and could find the football. And good savvy, good sense. Those are hard to teach, and he was a really smart player. I think that helped him out more than anything else.
We will hear Coach's conversation with Julian Love right after this short timeout.
Are you a fan of Notre Dame football? Do you follow the Irish's every move? From National Signing Day to playing for a national championship? Then you'll want to download the free SportsBeat app. The #1 Notre Dame football app.
Hi, this is Darren Pritchett. If you enjoy weekday SportsBeat, make sure to download the SportsBeat app. It's the only way you're going to be able to listen to us live.
You'll get daily audio updates, podcast, and sports talk 24/7. Live from South Bend. All focused on Notre Dame.
We talk Notre Dame football every day, from the players' recruitment all the way through their NFL careers.
The SportsBeat app, unlike other football apps, is 100% free. The SportsBeat app is now available at the App Store or the Google Play Store. Download it today and go Irish!
Football season means hosting family and friends for food, fun, and your favorite teams. From large-scale outdoor kitchens and fireplaces to fire tables and fire bowls. Kurt Outdoor Living make your backyard a dream come true. And with Jonathan Green Lawn Products, you can show off a lush, healthy lawn this fall for the annual family football game. Kurt Outdoor Living, 2129 West Wilden Avenue in Goshen. KurtOutdoorLiving.com.
This time of year can be challenging on Michiana's roads and highways. The arrival of autumn means falling leaves and driving in darkness for your morning and evening commute. This includes difficult visibility for drivers at sunrise and sunset. In addition, Mother Nature tosses in rain and fog, along with construction zones, school bus traffic, and the occasional deer sighting. Driving can be very dangerous and downright stressful. Even more stressful if you have an accident. If you're involved in a major crash or minor fender bender, put your mind at ease with a trip to Bill's Collision. In addition to restoring your car to its pre-accident condition, Bill's will take care of preparing the estimates, filing the insurance claims, and they'll even assist you finding alternate transportation. If you experience an auto accident, ease your stress. Bring your car to Bill's. Bill's Collision, U.S. Highway 20, just west of State Road 13 in Middlebury.
Bill's Collision will get you out of the fix you're in.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Show. Fighting Irish All-American cornerback Julian Love helped make Notre Dame's first visit to Blacksburg a memorable one last year when he returned a fumble for a touchdown and then came up with an interception late in Notre Dame's 45-23 victory over Virginia Tech. Love was named a first-team All-American by the Associated Press last season when he set the Notre Dame career record for passes broken up with 39, including a school record 20 in 2017. He also led all Irish non-linebackers in tackles in 2017 with 68, including 45 solo tackles. Love was selected by the New York Giants in the 4th round of this year's NFL Draft and signed a 4-year deal worth $3.3 million. He is now teammates with former Irish star Golden Tate. Earlier this week, Brian Kelly was able to connect with his former star cornerback. Here is their conversation.
Where are you? In your penthouse suite at the Ritz in New York City?
No, I am in a hotel for the night though.
Why?
I just have a night in the city.
So you don't have you don't have a place?
Oh no, I do. Yeah, I live in Jersey.
Oh, where in Jersey are you?
Weehawken.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's right there on the river.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. So are you kind of acclimating yourself to this NFL lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean it's different in a way, but it's nice. It's a nice area. A lot of great people. A lot of great food. So that's not too bad.
Oh no, I'm sure the food's great. The people are great. What's the NFL lifestyle like for you? I mean, in terms of the big difference is football 24/7, right?
Yeah, I think it was definitely different, but I think it's nice though. You wake up early, you go in, you get some film work in, and kind of your whole day is predicated on about football, about being on the field, competing, and your job there. So I've enjoyed it so far. I think the organization is kind of like a family aspect to it.
Right.
I was kind of surprised with how well the Giants do and kind of including everybody.
Right.
It's different, but I like it so far.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think the transition for a lot of people is difficult, but coming from Notre Dame, I think that prepares you. Tell me about what Notre Dame does to help players like yourself that go in the NFL for the first time. You're on your own. You're in a big city. Some can't handle that. Why are you, as a Notre Dame person, more prepared to handle that?
Man, I don't know. I felt like I was built ready for everything that was kind of thrown my way. On the field, handling different concepts. Right now, they have me on multiple positions, and just being able to kind of take it all in and absorb it all. Because at Notre Dame, you're taking on class, you're taking on a big game this week.
Right.
And so that, that transition of handling and time management was there for me. I was, in terms of classes, I was in business school. and just kind of handling, all your financial situations, things that come up. I feel like I was well equipped going into it to handle everything that came my way, versus some of these other guys who kind of had to learn the ropes.
Right.
And I think lastly, kind of in the professional sense of it, kind of dealing with people, meeting, and socializing with a lot of different people, throughout the organization, across the league, and just conducting yourself in that manner. And everything in Notre Dame taught me what to do in those situations.
Right, I think you're right on. Right, you handle those situations because you're put in those situations at Notre Dame. Whether you're working an internship and you're dealing with guys that run Fortune 500 companies, which you run into here. Whether the time management issues relative to your academics, and just little things like, well, now I got to pay bills, right? I got to pay my dues, for my union dues. All those little things, put you in a situation where it's not just that go to the NFL. You've got a transition to make, and especially in a big city like New York. One thing you left out is you got to deal with the media too. So I think that preparation helped you quite a bit as well.
Definitely out here, that media is no joke. Since freshman year when you guys had me talk to the media, I kind of learned, how to conduct myself.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about the dynamics of your position now. So they've got you playing nickel. I know I saw you a lot on special teams, playing a lot of special teams as well. I know you're playing some safety. I mean, they've got you all over the place. Tell me how you're handling all those different roles.
Yeah, so the first weekend I got here, they came up to me and said they want me, inside and at safety as well, and I kind of took it all in, but was really grinded. All my time is spent on learning my positions and being ready. Right now, I am on every special team, just getting out there competing, getting the speed of the league, get my feet on the ground, really.
So how's mom and dad doing? Everybody's good?
Yeah, they're doing well. They come out to every game.
Good.
Like usual. And they've enjoyed it so far.
Well, it was good to see you come back for the USC game. I know you were with your main girl, Julia, was there with you. You were up on the Jumbotron. Everybody was bowing to you. It was good to have you back for the game, and we got a big win against USC. So we're every bye week now. You got to come back because you're 1-0.
Hey, 1-0. I'm proud to be 1-0. And they competed. That was a great game.
The guys played hard. We just we didn't duplicate that performance, but we'll get it back this weekend against Virginia Tech. That's for sure. And this weekend, who do you have this weekend?
We have the Cowboys Monday night.
Monday night game. Perfect. It's the only game I get a chance to see because I can put it on my office. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you Monday night. And Julian, great spending time with you. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate you being on the show with us, and I know a lot of Notre Dame fans are going to be happy to see you on the show and are pulling for you. And go get a win against those Cowboys, and just take it easy on Jalen, would you, and the Martin boy.
I'm going to try.
All right, man. Thanks, Julian. Thanks for spending time with us tonight.
No problem. Good to see you, Coach.
All right, buddy. Take care.
That was Coach Kelly's conversation this week with former Irish All-American and current New York Giant, Julian Love. I'll be back to wrap up this week's edition of The Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com, right after this final timeout.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Ready to score some savings this football season? Join the Gordon Food Service Store Tailgating Zone. Just text GFS to 55678. Tailgating Zone members receive a free thermal tote bag, exclusive discounts on tailgating favorites, and a chance to win Notre Dame tickets just for signing up. Text GFS to 55678 to join today. Gordon Food Service Store is the official tailgating partner of Notre Dame Athletics.
What if something happens to your house? What if you don't have the right amount of coverage? West Bend's Home and Highway policy includes a guaranteed replacement cost feature. So if your home is destroyed, we'll pay to replace it, even if the cost to do so is higher than the limits on your policy. Because your house isn't just a house, it's your home, and your home is priceless. West Bend, the worst brings out our best. Ask your independent insurance agent about getting a West Bend policy for the things you can't afford to lose.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
Folks, thanks for coming out on this rainy Halloween night. Thanks for listening or watching wherever you are around the world. Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, Saturday, 2:41, Notre Dame Stadium. Until then, thanks for listening and watching. Good night, everybody, and go Irish.
This has been the Brian Kelly Show, presented by the experts at TireRack.com, and is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Canon, Gatorade, Gordon Food Service, St. Joseph Health System, South Bend Orthopedic, Vivid Seats, and by West Bend Insurance. Also brought to you by Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame and Gulfstream Coach.
For just